at your service.
Anything from Liara?
My sources told me the production numbers were wrong at that mining facility. I assumed they
Okay.
were just smuggling red sand. I never took the time to look closer. Too much intel. Too many places for secrets to hide. I'm going to have to start sleeping less.
Not sure that's the solution. Not sure that's the solution.
Good to see you again, Shepard.
Okay, nothing else here, though. So yeah, enough to raise suspicion from Liara, but she dismissed it as just, they're just, you know, your typical dealers of illicit goods. Not anything more than that. Doubt Allers would have anything to say, but I guess we can check.
Commander.
Yep, nothing here. Javik, on the other hand, I imagine very well might.
I saw many strange things in our war against the Reapers. An entire settlement of Densorian were once studying things far beyond their knowledge. Celestial mechanics, morphological simulations of galactic language. Things even we didn't understand. At the time, I thought they were crazy. But now, after what occurred on that asteroid, I wonder...
Oh. Another entire species that got indoctrinated by the Reapers, perhaps?
Your Asari continues to question me. I'm beginning to wish her kind had never learned to talk.
They are,
Many are asking what I eat. They will never know. It is harder to be poisoned that way. Is it true you keep fish in your cabin, Commander?
Actually we don't. Although that is an option. We can buy them, we have not done so, but, okay, I mean, it does seem like a very Javik response. I'm not going to tell them what I eat, so they have no way of poisoning me. Sure, but, you know, oh, hold on, you might have more to say. But it would be kind of interesting to know.
Commander.
Okay, that is all.
So, no regrets over fighting the Reapers on a human ship?
Hey, the Normandy's design was part Turian, remember?
You know what I mean.
No, somebody has to keep you from giving all the Dextros a bad name.
That's right. I remember you chastising me on behalf of my species for losing our homeworld to the Geth.
I never said that.
Would you like me to send you an audio recording?
No, I hate listening to recordings of myself. My voice never comes out right. Listen, about what I said.
Forget it.
No, I was wrong. I was young and I was wrong about your people.
I guess losing Palavin put things in perspective.
Yeah, you could say that. How about you? You ever mind serving on an all-human ship?
Somebody has to stick around to keep you in line.
Oh, okay. Okay, we've actually heard a fair bit of bickering between Tali and Garrus, which is, I mean, it's good to hear when, of course, they go way back to Mass Effect 1. They've built up a lot of history with one another.
That mining facility. All those people indoctrinated, losing 10 years. I can't even imagine what that's like. How many other people out there are trapped like that? We need to find Leviathan.
Random questions just came to mind. So if they were indoctrinated for 10 years, do they age during that 10 years? Like a normal human would? Like, I'm just imagining, did we see any young adults there? Who, if we wound the clock backwards for 10 years, would have been teenagers or kids when they first got indoctrinated? Or were they all, you know, middle-aged or a little older than that, and so it's a little more reasonable to assume that, yeah, you know, they had reason to be there even 10 years ago to be a researcher at this facility. Because, yeah, you know, if there's, like, someone who looks like a teenager when we witnessed them, when we met them there on the station, and in theory, they've been there for 10 years, then, you know, that suggests that they were working there as, you know, a young child. In which case, that seems a little bit odd. But I'm not sure if we really saw anyone that was young enough to raise that question, or make that be a legitimate plot hole or anything like that. Just an interesting thought.
The mining colony was completely brainwashed. Then the Reapers retreat the moment the artifact is destroyed. I don't know what's going on, but I know I don't like it.
Yeah, that is true. There's that aspect. The whole Reapers fled as soon as the artifact was destroyed, which we haven't talked as much about. Don't really have any theories for that at this stage.
That asteroid facility was messed up.
True.
10 years of your life, just gone. You're working out there, sending letters to your family back home, and you wake up, and your hair's gone. Your kid's in college, and your six-pack has turned into a keg. It's just messed up.
Especially the six-pack part. No, not so much, but that's basically what I was just talking about, was, think of all the stuff that is certainly still happening to their family, but, like, is their body still aging 10 years? I guess so. I guess so. We did also get somewhat reasonable amount of money from that mission, and so if we really wanted to, see what we have remaining here, see if there's any... Oh. Where is this? No, that's for sporting goods. The SMG Ultralight, don't care as much about that, but SMG Heatsink. Oh, no, this is the one that we decided not to take, because we were saying that we were probably not going to be firing our Hurricane long enough for this to be much of a factor, although if we have the money to spare, it might still be worth doing. I'm just looking here to see what the options are, because of course, obviously, there's the markup at this location, 10%, so just double checking if there's anything we might want to pick up. But not like some of the fish that we theoretically could have, and so I think that was kind of the illusion that Javik was making a little while ago. Definitely still some half-decent weapons hanging out here. The Indra is solid. Pistol piercing can be good for weapons that can pierce. Ones that we're generally using and the ones that our squad mates are generally using cannot, because they're projectile-based weapons, but otherwise would not be a bad idea to pick that up. I think we can certainly pass on all that stuff. The most enticing thing would have probably been the SMG Heatsink, but... Oh, we are using the high-velocity barrel. Hold on, where's this? Igor munitions. Okay, that is theoretically something we could decide to pick up. Vector obviously has the big stuff. The really powerful weapons like the Widow, the Wraith, the Paladin, Harrier, Piranha, all these things are ones that we might theoretically consider getting. The Valiant, I mean, we've said before that sniper rifles, because we have the Javelin, we might not be looking to spend big on any of the other ones. We were saying that with the Black Widow. For the Valiants, it's probably even more so the case. I mean, it's also a solid sniper rifle. I don't have a lot of experience. I haven't used it all that much in Mass Effect 3 multiplayer, but I mean, the price is pretty hard to justify when if we have concerns about potentially buying the Widow, the Black Widow, then certainly those concerns are double for purchasing the Valiant, which is basically twice as expensive. Other than that, the Crise is a gimmicky, explosive-based sniper rifle. It's just really odd. That looks cool, but also probably not looking to go out of our way to pick up too many of the models. Striker is kind of fun, but is also a little bit gimmicky. Same with the Executioner. Aegis, yeah, I mean, all this stuff theoretically can be good, except not so much against the Plasma SMG. This weapon is atrocious. Everything else here is actually potentially either in some situations quite good or just outright really solid, or potentially game-breakingly powerful in this case. But nothing that I think is urgent, and that's kind of been the conclusion we've come to as of late. Anything that we really want to upgrade? The arc pistol, we still haven't done this last upgrade. Might be worth throwing that on. while we're down here. Just a little bit of monies. It's not that bad. Anything big for the really powerful weapons? What about, did we ever fully upgrade particle rifle? Yeah, this was something we were thinking about a while back. That I think we could justify. We have the money to do it. Let's go for it. Let's fully upgrade you. We talked about it a while back. It's theoretically probably our second best assault rifle after the Typhoon. Most of the time, Typhoon is probably still going to be king, but especially with James with his Inferno ammo, or incendiary ammo, and having it so it can explode, and that means that I think it's a set percentage chance every time he shoots for it to happen. So that means you want to be firing as many times as possible, so that you are proccing that as many times as possible. And I believe the plasma, or rather the particle rifle, has the fastest firing rate of all of the assault rifles. I mean, Typhoon is certainly still not bad, but in that way, the particle rifle is technically the best for James in that situation. If you're trying to maximize the incendiary ammo explosions, still, you know, is the incremental value of that worth spending the extra money to upgrade the particle rifle instead of just settling for the Typhoon? Maybe, maybe not. Typhoon also has better maximum range than the particle rifle, so it's not a perfect comparison, but it gives us the option, at the very least. Still have some other solid weapons here that we could consider upgrading. The Widow does, I believe, technically hit a little bit harder than the Javelin does. It doesn't have the same ability to shoot through, or rather, the X-ray vision to help you shoot through walls and cover, although that doesn't really matter much for squad mates, and generally it's squad mates who are going to be using the sniper rifles here, so we could potentially even justify upgrading the Widow and having people like Garrus and actually use this instead of the Javelin. But again, the incremental power of it is not much. It's only slightly stronger than the Javelin, and so probably just not worth shelling out the money for it. Why bother? Might as well save it and spend it elsewhere where it's probably more useful. At least until, you know, if we're at the very end of the game, we're like, well, we don't have anything else to spend our money on, so why not? Then, sure. Okay, so these will be our particle rifle upgrades. Oh, and we were saying arc pistol, and then we didn't actually do it. Let's finish our upgrades on that, though. That is definitely really strong. Okay, excuse me. Thank you. Okay, so now we're looking to head back to the Citadel, I believe, for this next aspect of Leviathan. An artifact in Dr. Bryson's office. Okay, so yeah, we heard Shepard make some reference to there being one of those artifacts in the Citadel, and it was like, wait, what? This thing that seemingly was the source of the Leviathan's power to control and indoctrinate all the people on the station. There's one of those on the Citadel, and, well, there's a whole lot more people there, so that could make it quite dangerous. So let's return to Bryson's lab and investigate the artifact. That does sound like a good idea. Alright, let's head out of here. And I believe we've now fully explored everything in the area. Oh, it did not restock our fuel when we finished that mission. I hope we still have enough to get back here, but to tell you the truth, it doesn't matter too much, because if we do run out, we're going to get automatically teleported back here anyway, because this is the relay system that we are targeting. Yeah, we have a little bit of fuel left. Okay, so now I think we're just heading straight back. So let's go to Dr. Bryson's lab.
We need to shield the artifact they've got here right away.
Using Garneau's data, I should be able to accomplish this without difficulty.
Something tells me you are overestimating the ease of that process.
Damn thing's been here the whole time. Why weren't we affected?
Perhaps the amount of time spent near the artifact is key. After a certain duration, it affords Leviathan an impressive mind control capability.
I mean, not sure if we want that to be the case or if we don't want that to be the case, Edie. And on one hand, it does make me think of Dr. Bryson's assistant, the one that murdered him. Maybe that's why, because I mean, he was exhibiting some similar behaviors, right? Didn't he have this really weird deep voice for a second as well? Kind of like we heard on that previous mission with one or two people. And certainly was acting in a very strange manner and presumably would not have normally shot his boss and killed him. And we've heard that supposedly the Leviathan had killed a Reaper. So does that mean that it's our ally? Because on the other hand, it's mind-controlled a whole space station worth of people, and also we think, perhaps, mind-controlled the assistant here, and led that assistant to murder Dr. Bryson. So, some things that are helpful, some things that are very not so helpful.
I'd call it dangerous as hell. Bryson's assistant tried to kill me.
Right.
Perhaps Leviathan was controlling him to protect itself, diverting people away from its trail.
Maybe. It just shows we don't know what we're dealing with yet.
Despite the risk, this artifact remains our only link to finding Leviathan. Perhaps we could find more information about it here in the lab.
Agreed. Bryson's team might have turned up something we missed. I'll look around.
Okay. Ooh. Lots of things. Looks like we can investigate here. We have a data file. Let's see. Energy emissions tests. Artifact P3X118. Derek Hadley, that's the assistant. Initial tests. Artifact tests negative for infrared and ultraviolet emissions. No gamma or X-ray radiation detected either. So how is it setting off? How is it distributing this energy? Follow-up tests. Artifact does not react to application of various stimuli. Internal readings inconclusive. No progress in determining age. Guess I stayed here all night finding out that this thing isn't really important. Fell asleep at desk. I don't know if I'd go that far, though. Conclusion. Artifact is definitely inert and safe. I have to agree to disagree on that one. Recommend keeping it here for reference. We should all be near it. May be more useful than Leviathan in long run. Recommend we abandon hunt for Leviathan and seek more productive studies. Makes you wonder. That started to sound more like this artifact was already starting to control Hadley's mind, or the Leviathan through the artifact was starting to control his mind.
They were testing the artifact for energy emissions.
And found nothing. Still, I recommend leaving it shielded.
I agree. Microscope?
Anything interesting about the artifact structure?
It is not constructed of the same compounds used in standard Reaper technology. Beyond that, nothing of relevance.
Okay. The husk head experiment? That does appear to be all, I'm afraid. Afraid that does appear to be all. Okay. Let's continue searching. Anything out here? Kinda doubt it. But maybe. Not collecting maple syrup from the trees? No? Can't learn anything from that, doesn't seem like it. Okay. Oh. I mean, that certainly looks awfully Reaper-like. Anything at the desk? No. Over here, we have project information.
Edie, what project was Garneau working on when he found the artifact?
Basilisk.
Got anything on Basilisk?
Several ships, a mythical creature, and a rare mid-tier enemy type in the Galaxy of Fantasy video game. It possesses a gaze attack capable of triggering synced animation kills. Player forums describe it as overpowered.
I meant the project, Edie.
Oh. Then, no.
There's gotta be something here on this artifact. What about the server?
Bryson's assistant wiped the office server and destroyed all backups, likely before killing Bryson. However, records show new messages on Bryson's personal comm terminal upstairs.
Could be worth a look.
Oh, okay. Also, for what it's worth, have I outright stated this yet? Alright, I'll just say it now, because we've danced around this for long enough. In case you can't tell, all those times when I've said, by the way, such and such enemy, don't stand next to them, don't let them get close to you. It's because they have a specific move, a specific ability, where they can automatically one-shot you, regardless of how much health you have, regardless of how much damage, protection you have, all that stuff. So we've encountered some enemies that have that ability already, many, in fact, and I feel like I must have mentioned this before. So amongst the enemies that we've encountered thus far that can do that, that includes, on the server side of things, the Atlas can, the Phantom can, and that's one of the reasons why the Phantom is so scary, is because it's so quick, and it can cloak and sneak up on you, and then if it gets close enough, it can still do its one-shot move, and so, that's a nasty combo. The Brutes can, although they tend not to do it that often, and then Banshees can as well. So, fortunately, we've not seen any of them do that yet, although that is the reason why I have made a point of making sure that we are not standing next to any of those enemies thus far, and hopefully it remains that way. Although, to be honest, I was kind of tempted as soon as we started seeing some of those enemies to, at least with the first encounter, just demonstrate, okay, so see, this is why you don't want to stand next to a Brute. Proceeds to get immediately annihilated by Brute. Now let's never do that again. Just for demonstration purposes, and do that for all of the enemies that can do it, just to show you what it's like. So there was the temptation, because it does look cool, but on the other hand, obviously, you die. Okay, so there's some kind of message up here. Also, that odd change of camera angle made me really think that we had entered into a cutscene that was gonna show us it, but maybe this personal terminal here?
A message from Dr. Bryson's daughter, Anne. According to my records, she worked with her father.
I'm at the dig site in the Pylos Nebula. Project Scarab paid off. I've got another artifact like the one Garneau found. I think it could be affecting people's behavior. You need to shield the one in your office. I tried to warn Garneau, but I can't get through. We've got Reaper scouts coming in toward the main site. I'm heading to the secondary base to grab what research I can.
Anne Bryson was attempting to contact Garneau on the asteroid colony. She seems to know something about the artifact.
Yeah, she seems to have come to, I mean, I hesitate to say conclusions, but made some of the same observations that we just made. So, sounds like she would be a good person to talk to, but she might, given how Garneau got basically hunted down, she might be in trouble as well.
She sounded worried.
If Reaper forces were approaching, her concern was warranted.
Let's hope we get to her before they do.
She said she was in the Pylos Nebula, working for Project Scarab. That cluster contains several systems. I'll call up the nebula on the galaxy map. We may also search the lab for clues to narrow down her location.
Okay. So, new journal update. Our plan now is to find Anne Bryson. Anne Bryson is the best source of information about the Leviathan artifacts. Search the Pylos Nebula to find her. So we can either head over there and search for her, but much like we saw in previous sections of this DLC, this mission, the overarching Leviathan thread, with a little bit further research, perhaps we can narrow down our search so that rather than searching in this whole area, we can narrow it to a specific system, a specific planet maybe even. Sovereign Fragment?
The Reapers. Let's hope we find Anne before they do.
Certainly hope so. Stone paintings?
Can you identify this, Edie?
It originates with a pre-spaceflight culture, but there are none recorded in the Pylos Nebula.
I mean, it's very clearly looks like a Reaper. Oh, we can go in here? Oh, yeah, this was the bathroom. I think we had briefly been in here previously. Maybe there was that data pad we could do something with before. Computer console? Okay, maybe we try that out.
These are the ships Dr. Bryson and his team used?
Yes. If we can find out which ship Ann Bryson took for Project Scarab, we may learn something.
Okay, that's encouraging.
These are the ships Dr. Bryson and his team used?
Yes. If we can find out which ship Ann Bryson took for Project Scarab,
computer console
we may learn something.
And Nick Quantis ship schematics are the same.
These are the ships Dr. Bryson and his team used?
Yes. If we can find out which ship Ann Bryson took for Project Scarab, we may learn something.
It sounds like we need to confirm elsewhere which ship he took, which ship she took.
Does anything in Ann Bryson's work history suggest where she might be?
Nothing relevant.
Is that legible? Or is that just gobbledygook? I think that's just gobbledygook. Task Force Aurora, current travel requisitions, Project Basilisk, Team Leader Garneau Alex, the Garneau that got murdered, Transport MSV Kirkwall, Project Scarab, Team Leader Ann Bryson, Transport MSV Icarus. Is that her ship?
Ann Bryson flew out on a ship called the Icarus. Can you track its movements?
No. The Reapers have disrupted civilian comm buoys. But we might learn more if we find the ship's specifications.
Okay.
I believe you saw them earlier.
Yes. In fact, they're up right now.
The Icarus. Here we go.
The ship has enhanced electrostatic discharge cells. They facilitate long-range FTL travel.
So they jumped to the Pylos Nebula by mass relay, then flew to another system.
Yes. Otherwise, they would have chartered a less expensive ship.
Okay. We can rule out the relay system.
Okay. Filter added, ship schematics. We get a little bit of experience from that as well. They would have used a cheaper ship if they could just fly in straight through the mass relay and go to a planet in that system. Whereas if they had to go to a neighboring system, then that would require a little bit more traveling capabilities, and so that's why we are thinking that is the case. What is that? Is that a harvester? In that bottom right picture, I think it is. It's two harvesters. So we've seen, of course, the Reaper-fied version of harvesters. However, they do exist, or did exist, before the Reapers arrived. We actually saw them in Mass Effect 2 during the Firewalker / Overlord mission. Definitely Firewalker. I don't remember if it showed up in Overlord at all, but as we were driving around, we looked up in the sky and saw some, what might have initially appeared to have been birds, but they were much bigger than that. And I think I made some kind of comment like, just remember that those exist at the time. But now we've come to know what they are on a more first-hand basis, I'm afraid. More up close and personal.
Any idea if Project Scarab involved Element Zero?
Unlikely. We may learn more from the Project Requisitions Locker.
Oh, okay.
Any correlation between Project Scarab and these unexplained creature sightings?
Not beyond Leviathan itself.
Okay. Oh, there's the locker.
The locker is secure. We must locate an access card to open it.
Okay. There's something right here. Not the husk head. The drawer. Okay.
Access card for the requisitions locker?
Yes. According to records, it was last used by Ann Bryson to obtain equipment for Project Scarab.
Okay, that sounds encouraging. Also, can we still look at the ship schematics?
Based on the search data, it is one of these two systems.
Okay, more experience from that as well. Anything else here while we're at it? Now let's just go for the
Let's see
locker.
what Ann Bryson requisitioned for Project Scarab.
What do we have? We have equipment, missing equipment, Equipment. And assault rifle omniblade. Well, let's snap that real quick. Let's not ask too many questions about why she has a assault rifle bayonet in her locker. But other than that, there also appears to be another, and that is the image for a weapons mod there, right next to the missing equipment there.
Water recycling equipment.
Okay. What about the suit?
Didn't need an environmental suit.
Based on what Anne Bryson did or did not requisition, the dig site was arid but habitable.
Get me a filter for systems with compatible planets.
Okay. So now let's apply the equipment filter.
Based on the data, only one system remains a viable possibility.
Good. Let's go get Anne Bryson.
Alright. Looks like once again we've narrowed down our search, and so we could have just settled for needing to search any one of these 3 locations to find her, and not known definitively until we track it down, or by tracking down these filters and applying them, we can confirm her exact location and go straight there if we'd like, or we can, of course, as we usually do, explore the full cluster, each of the systems in it, and see if we happen to come across other things, even in the areas where we know Dr. Bryson will not be. So I think we're good to go here. Don't think there's anything else for us to check out in the lab. So unless we want to buy anything on the Citadel while we're here, which, I mean, we were eyeing it to a certain extent, but I think for the most part we've determined that there's not anything that is particularly urgent. Okay, so now that we're back on the Normandy, I think we are, at this stage, looking to, well, find Anne Bryson. And so we actually know her exact location within the Pylos Nebula. So let's head out. And I'm guessing it is this one over here, because this is flashing and I don't think we've been here yet. Yeah, Pylos Nebula. So I believe it only shows up once you get to this stage in the Leviathan mission. Okay. So again, because we applied all those filters, we know she's not in here. Although, to be fair, this is such a small system. Would you ever, not be able to confirm whether she's here? With just a couple of scans, I feel like you'd be able to make it happen anyway. But anyways, we'll start with Jonas. Jonas, a methane ammonia ice giant, is believed to be an extrasolar planet captured by its star. It was developed as a fuel depot serving the Pylos cluster. Eldfeld Ashland Energy, we've heard that name a lot. Eldfeld Ashland Energy had established a base on one of its moons to crack water ice into hydrogen and oxygen and skim helium-3 from its atmosphere. The Reapers destroyed both the base and the abandoned infrastructure, but not before triggering a trap, a crude nuclear device meant to catch them in its blast. From orbit, the Normandy sensors can pick out a sign that some waggish employee has left on the wreckage of the moon base on fission. Not fission, fission. Clever. Very clever. Then we have Isale. Isale is a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant. Though gas giants are known for their powerful magnetic fields, Isale's field is stronger than current models predict. Within the frost line of its solar system, where gas giants do not usually form, Isale is believed to have once been extrasolar. With no infrastructure to speak of, the Reapers have ignored Isale as a military target. Okay, so certainly Jonas sounded more interesting. I think we probably make a point of scanning that, except we did not find anything there. Okay, so the thing is, we could scan Isale, yes. However, if we do so, then the Reapers are going to flood the system, and this is our way out right now. So, oh, also we're quite low on fuel, are we not? Oh no, we got a restock of fuel. That's odd. Happens sometimes it doesn't. I wonder if technically our previous mission was not over when we finished finding Dr. Garneau, but perhaps only once we actually went back to the lab on the Citadel and did all those searches with Edie. And so now that we have done that, that is what has reset our fuel here. Because, yeah, we were at something like 300 before. Now we're capped off at 1,000, so we definitely have enough to make it over to either of these systems now, whereas previously we probably would not have. Which means, technically speaking, well, I guess by that same logic, there's a chance that even after finishing this next mission, if we head back here to this system, the Reaper Alertness might still exist? Pretty sure it reset last time, though. Did it? I don't know. Maybe it's best not to test that right now. Let's wait and scan and try to find the remaining things in this system once we're done with everything in this cluster, because then we don't have to worry about being chased out of the system by Reapers, because we still have business to attend to here, so it would be ill-timed if we were not able to stick around. Okay, this is much bigger. The Dorada system. So we have Bioressa. With an orbital period nearly 2 millennia long, the cold and distant Bioressa was actually missed in the initial Asari survey of the system. Only a follow-up mineral assay sent to Connolus by a Volus mining concern noticed its subtle movement across the stars. Bioressa is a methane ammonia ice giant circled by a retinue of deep frozen moons. Its remoteness made it a popular drive discharge point for pirates working in the Pylos Nebula cluster. As Pylos is currently unclaimed by any sovereign power, Council naval patrols are few and far between. Thus far, none of the local pirates have been apprehended, and the Reapers have shown little interest in the system. It is possible Bioressa could be used as a base of operations for fleeing ships. And this is in the Terminus systems right now, that's where we are, so yeah, this is far out of Council control. Cineus, a standard hydrogen-helium gas giant, Cineus has more than 80 moons. Nothing else of particular note. Zeth. Zeth is a common hydrogen-helium gas giant. An abundance of sulfur in the upper atmosphere gives it a distinct yellow stripes. Connolus, we've heard a bit about this. Connolus is smaller than Earth, but has unusually high density. The high level of tectonic activity indicates that the density is caused by an abundance of radioactive materials in the core. These, combined with the planet's unusually high rate of spin, raise the planet's internal temperature and cause volcanism. While several companies performed mineral assays in the late 2170s, the world's geological instability precluded development. Also, it's 99 degrees Celsius, which is a little bit unpleasant. There's an asteroid belt right next to the star. That is cool. I don't think we've ever seen that before. Thanusi is a small, barren rock. Though there is evidence that it once had an atmosphere of carbon dioxide, only trace amounts of krypton and xenon remain. Like Cyano, it is tightly locked to Dorada. I imagine that means this is Cyano. Cyano, named for an ancient Asari philosopher known for being a contrarian, orbits Dorada at a retrograde. It is believed to be an object that fell into the system millions of years ago from parts unknown. The outermost of Dorada's 2 asteroid belts is thought to have been a small planetoid that was broken up by Cyano's passage into the system. Cyano is formed of low-density rock and is tidally locked to Dorada. The same hemisphere always faces the star. There is evidence that a complex of artificial structures once existed in the north of the sunward-facing hemisphere, but they have been badly degraded by millennia of heat and radiation. Several bunkers of radioactive waste, apparently byproducts of primitive fission plants, have been discovered on the far side. The Reapers appear to have ignored Cyano, concentrating on systems with a higher population. It's a little intriguing. Did I hear something there? There is this little asteroid belt right next to what is a pretty big bright star. But, okay. No boops, at least not yet. And, I mean, I think we're trying to scan planets We have to go for this and see if we can get 3 for 1. If we were unsuccessful, for a second there I thought the Reapers were not going to get any alertness at all, and that was making me hopeful. We might have been able to be pretty aggressive with our scans, but... Ooh. Not so lucky. Fortunately, yeah, the Reapers are quite slow to notice this area. It is huge, so it is a little forgiving in that way. Let's try to do a loop to see if we can find stuff in the middle of nowhere. That's just the planet there. Presumably, there is still one asset that is not directly on a planet and one that is. Interestingly, usually, the assets are on planets that are around the middle of the system, and ones that tend to be not gas giants, or not to be the hothouses right next to the star, but may not be the case here. That's Nautilus. Nautilus, however you pronounce it. So it might be one of these outermost planets that is more on the eastern side of the system. I'm not seeing anything. Or not, more accurately, not hearing anything over here. Did I hear something there for a second, though? No, I made that up. Okay. Wow. Big area, which at present does seem quite empty. I mean, I assume there... Oh, here's something there. Pretty sure I did. Thought I did. Tempted to scan here, especially because our bar is filling up so slowly, and we do have a planet here, Sinius, that we've not yet scanned, so let's just see if there's anything obvious on either side of this planet, and if not, then we'll just give it a scan anyway, because we've not yet scanned this thing. Oh, there's something.
I found something.
Oh, they're both right here. At least we think this might be both of the things we're looking for. Look at how slowly the bar is filling up. Did that fill at all that time? So Sinius has something here. Again, not often we see stuff on gas giants. Every now and again it has happened. This time, it's radiation shielding sheath. So it is a war asset. And that is 50% of the assets recovered, so that would suggest that, well, that definitely means this is the last one. It is probably fuel, just out of curiosity. How much fuel have we spent? How much do we really need this right now? I mean, spent a little over 100. So it's probably going to top us off and might be an over-refuel, but we'll take it for the sake of taking it, I suppose. That's 250, so it's about twice as much as we actually needed, but sure. We'll nab it. And then Zaharin, which is where we're expecting to actually find the dig site in question. That is almost exactly how much fuel we had as we were going into the previous system.